Critic, our Homes and Loans podcast, making a difference through collaboration. And I'm so glad to have my friend, Rodney Murphy.
Yes,
Rodney
sir.
and I, we go way, way back, don't we, Rod?
Yes, sir.
Golly, it's hard to believe, ain't it, brother?
Yeah.
Class of 87 and 89, William Blount High School. And Rodney's a dear friend. And guys, I'm going to tell you, we go back a long way. And having the opportunity to be a friend with this guy means a lot to me. And having the opportunity to just be here with you, Rod, it's good, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be invited. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know it, man. And I know just having, Lord, you've helped me in so many projects.
Yep.
One of the things that come to my mind is, you know, Daddy and his horses, and
Oh, yeah.
and having Dad had a horse for many horses for years, but actually had a horse that made it to 40.
Right.
The last horse, and
Yeah.
we're like 40 years, you know, and I just, before we get too deep into it, man, I know you've worn many hats, but having the idea of a mortician serving the family,
Right.
that was a different deal, but you understood that,
Yeah.
man. So I appreciate that. It made a lot of difference. I know it was very special to my dad,
Right.
and y'all were just very compassionate about that, brother.
Well, a lot of people's animals are just like their family. I mean,
Yeah.
exactly. And you know, that has to be done too. So
Yeah,
we got to do what we can to help each other.
that's right. That's right. Well, tell me, of course, I know Paige, and
Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah.
Laura was in school together,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
different things. Your lovely wife. How long have
Yeah.
y'all been married?
We've been married 18 years.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. Well, tell us a little about Rodney. I know you said grew up in Lanier, but just whatever comes to mind, because you know we've talked about this. We have basically 3 segments. You know, we can kind of loose with it, but
Yeah.
one's kind of getting to know you, and
Yeah.
what are some of the memories that
Right.
you have from growing up, and
Yeah.
hard, easy, or whatever. And
Yeah.
then we take a middle part to talk about how you serve the community and your business, and then.
Sure.
One of my favorites is getting into, you know, how do we deal with mindset and adversity and things of
Right.
that nature. So,
Yeah.
what would you like to say about Rodney? How'd you
Well,
grow up?
When we was young, we didn't have much. I mean, we was definitely on the poor side, and we had to cut a lot of hay and tobacco, pretty much anything to make a little money.
Right.
Try to help the family out, and I worked with the Moss brothers. I started working with those when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And they really taught me a lot about quality and.
Now, were you doing construction work and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
framing houses. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I worked with them for several years every summer, and
Did you start out cleaning the sites up
yeah.
and?
You start out cleaning up and handing lumber up, and just they teach you quickly. They want you to be part of it. So
I tell you, one of the funniest things that come to mind. You know, I've tried to do different things over time, and I remember going and working and had Jeff was working with Jeff Moss. I don't know if that's the same,
yeah.
but you know, I'll never forget this. I was working on one of my office buildings over there, the one across from Aubrey's, and you know, guys had their big tape measure.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I'm talking about the ones that 25-foot span. You know,
yeah.
and here I pull out a little
12
six. No, it was worse than that. A little 6 little like. I guess your seamstress or something would have. And
that's so funny.
let's just say I didn't feel too manly.
Right, I understand.
So so started out to hustle and learn how to.
Yeah.
14's a young age to start working. I remember doing some hay baling myself, but get out there and making that dollar.
Yeah. Well, we just kind of carried on that work ethic all the way through high school. I didn't really get to play football, which I wanted to, but it's hard to get a ride all the way to Lanier from William Blount.
Right.
So we didn't get to play. It's hard to get a ride, but anyway, we ended up getting a job. Worked at Red Food, Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A was a really good place to work. Good people.
You know, I'd forgotten that. I believe you. Were you there with Greg and Shane?
Yeah,
and them?
all of them.
Man,
Joel Benson, all of them.
Man, now that's a
Frankie.
successful tree.
I know the whole bunch is.
Well, I
really
did not
done
know
well.
that.
Yes.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So on up into high school. Now, how did you and Paige meet?
We actually met at a diner, you could say.
Really?
Yeah.
Just bumped into each other? Or was it a fixed up date?
No,
or?
it was long story short, she was going through a divorce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was always out at the time, so we just ended up running into each other. So
Okay.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, Paige, his wife's a beautiful lady and fellow Blount Countyan.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. We're going to have a lot of guests on these podcasts and what we're doing. But man, having a good old boy from the lower Blount County means a lot to me too, buddy.
I really appreciate that.
So you went to William Blount.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
What else comes to mind that you'd like to share?
Basically, I just worked for the Moss Brothers as a carpenter, and I really thought that's what I was going to do. And then I ended up getting a job with insurance benefits. It was a big deal working at Schlegel, the factory Schlegel, and I worked there for 8 years until.
Now, was that a desk job or?
No, I worked out on the floor.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So it was hourly, but anyway, it was a good job compared to, I tell people they're lucky to have a roof over their head when they have a job. You don't, when you work outside all the time, dealing with the weathers.
Yeah.
It's a task.
Yes.
That's the toughest thing about what I do now. But anyway, to make a long story short, when they went out of business, they gave everybody a severance package. And some of my good friends, Scott Bookout and Sammy Dunlap, they was doing skid steer work, and they was doing really good at the time. And I thought, shoot, I didn't know how to run one, but I bought a brand new one with the money, $15,000. I just put a down payment on it. I didn't even know how to run it. And
no doubt.
Yeah.
So where did that vision come from? Did you think Lord just put it on you, or?
I had a tractor, and I did a lot of tractor work for people, just bush hogging, plowing, little things like that of an evening when I worked at Schlegel. And it just kind of started progressing, doing a little more and a little more. And I just really liked working outside at the time, and I still do. It's just the weather really hinders what you can get done.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, how, I guess, so you, of course, one thing about me, Rod, it's hard to keep me, I'm like chasing shiny objects. So I want to try to keep us on the path as best I can. Sure. But when you made that investment, you're like, hey man, I can, this is okay. Did you just start, how did you let people know you was able to do what you could do?
Well, like you have that hat on for years and years. I gave people T-shirts, hats. I just tried to let everybody know that I was out there trying to get.
So it was actually not as much going and knocking on doors and flyers and stuff, but just letting people know what you did.
It was mostly word of mouth, but when a customer was happy, I was always. It's basically, if you think about it, it's like Google reviews now. I was like, hey, you happy with what I did? Yeah, well, here's a shirt, and I want you to wear it with pride. I always told people to wear it with pride, and I think I told you that when I gave you that hat.
Yes.
Because I really mean that. I want people to understand we do our best to do a good job.
Well, I got to tell you, man, when I go fishing with Daddy or we're hanging out, Daddy's got a matching hat like that, and I've got a lot of good miles out of it, brother.
There you go.
I always got the good shirts and stuff. That's awesome. Well, I'm gonna let me see if I can pull something out here. I know that. Well, I think we kind of talked about this, but could you pinpoint maybe what inspired you to start in your career?
Doing what I do, truthfully, I think it was just it was an opportunity, and people needed it, and there was so much work going on at the time. I worked for so many people through Scott Bookout and Sammy Dunlap.
Oh, so that was already some end game there.
Yeah, and they kind of, like, hey, this guy needs help all the time, and next thing you know, I was working every day for somebody. Ed Shore and Brad and Rod, they all had mini houses going.
So what did you start out doing? Like, what were the basic jobs you would do? Clearing lots and stuff? And
we did everything. We cleaned up lots, when they was messed up. We put in yards. We filled in garages to, pour concrete. We put them on grade. We, just anything that needed to be done is what we did.
Moving dirt.
Yes.
Man, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So what would you say, what are some of the biggest challenges that you think has been some of the biggest challenges that you face?
The business that I'm in is extremely capital intensive because, some of the equipment nowadays is very, very expensive. And it's a big step every time you take one. Every time you buy a new piece, you're in your head, you're like, am I doing the right thing? And then before you know it, you got 3 of them, And I really, I think that was the to get over the fear factor of being in debt, owing money for a piece of equipment that needs to be working every day.
How did you? I mean, I know we're kind of jumping around, but man, this is good stuff. What do you remember in the early days, and even today? You know, what are some of the
Yeah.
things that when you had to weigh that out?
Right.
What did you? What kept you moving forward?
Well, the truth is, I like to say I'm kind of a gambler, and what I mean by a gambler is I bet on myself every time. And what I mean by that is I get up and go to work every day. I try to find something to do. I try to find write notes to make myself have goals for the day to get things done. I just if you get up and work and you do people right, try to you know you got to make a living, but you try to be fair with people. Try to do it like you're. I tell my guys all the time, try to act like you're writing the check for what we just done. Are you happy with that? And would you be satisfied paying that? So
Man, that's good.
that's uh,
Well, one thing I know about you is, and we probably have it in our DNA, man, is that when and how many folks do you have working on your team now?
65.
So, you probably feel good about the fact ain't not one of them 65. They might work as much as you,
Mm.
but they ain't going to work harder than you.
Well, physically, I don't do that much, but I still I keep the ball rolling, and that's
That's
really
right.
what it takes. And
That's right.
I hire my weakness is one of the best things I learned to expand out and do things that I'm not comfortable with myself, but I hire somebody that can do it, and and I let them do their job, and it really works good. I think we got a very good team, very good group of guys that care about each other. The way I look at it, truthfully, is we're a big part of everybody's family. I mean, we help pay their bills,
That's right.
and so it's just a close knit relationship.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's awesome, man. This is awesome. Um, Now, this is something that I'd like to, this is one of the passions I had for the podcast, and
Mhm.
how do you balance professional, business and
Mhm.
home?
Yeah.
How do you personal and business? How do you balance that out when you're a go getter and you get
Mhm.
up and you want to get stuff done? Is there anything that you could share that
Well,
helps you with that?
sure, you got to find the right person that will that knows what kind of person you are and that you're what you're willing to do to let your family have a lot of things. What I mean by that is like when I go on vacation with my wife and daughters, I just if I get a phone call, she knows I take every phone call I can. I mean, which now I have people that we say call the office, or it says it on my voicemail or whatever.
Unless you got the folks like me that still.
Well, if they call me directly, I answer the phone, and that
I
that don't
understand
bother
that.
me at all. It's just that now we got a lot of new customers that don't know me personally, and they call the office. So for years and years, I advertised my cell phone number, but now I advertise my office
That's got
number.
to be a great feeling, like you raised your child,
Hmm.
and now your
Oh yeah,
child's
yep,
growing and providing jobs for your
yeah,
people. And
yep,
I mean, just the things that I've seen you do, I don't even
yeah,
know just a fraction of it, but to drive by something
yeah,
that you have seen and you're like, wow,
yeah,
we did that.
yeah,
We made the world better,
right,
whether a foundation for a
yeah,
home
mm,
or for business, or you took a mountain down and
yeah,
made it into something. Is there anything that comes to mind, Ronnie, that's maybe one or two you're most proud? I know you're not
yeah,
a prideful man,
yeah.
and I'm having to shake you by the ankles
I
on
got
this,
you.
I know, but is there anything that you're a project
Yeah.
maybe or something that you're just super proud of?
Well, for years and years, to be honest with you, I struggled by not really charging what I should charge for to be in business. Okay, I feel like I try to be a good old boy, try to keep everything reasonable. At some point, you're like, that's why I'm in business. I have to make, and they're calling on you to do that. But one of the best projects I did was help them redo Chilhowie Dam. And truthfully, that was like a shot in the arm that we just come out of a recession, and it was like the one shot I need get me over the hump to where instead of scrambling around for, payroll on Friday,
Yes.
I finally had a little leeway in there that, to make you feel like you got a little security where you're not so strapped every week.
And that's probably an evolution of the business where you go from, helping the good old boy, mom, pa, onesie twosies, and then you get that big contract. That's a game changer.
Yeah.
And you got, and if you hadn't had the vision
Right.
to put you, I mean, you going back to when you put that 15 grand down on that initial thing, you wouldn't have got that Chilhowie Dam job.
Exactly right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We have, like I said, we had real good people helping me on that job that worked with me. There was only 7 or 8 of us at the time, and we really knocked it out of the park for them. And we've done lots and lots of work for Brookfield, which is they bought the dams from Alcoa, so we've cut in roads on the mountains for them. I mean, just lots of things have transpired from that.
Well, like I said, I know before we go into our first break, man, this has been awesome. I'm enjoying it, man. And I love you, Rodney.
Yes, sir, buddy.
Anything before we turn the page on, coming up, and anything else that comes to mind that you think would be good to share?
The one thing I want to share with you is one of the best things that I've learned over the years is to be thankful for what you have, and truly I am. And we're growing constantly, but the truth is, if I didn't do anything else the rest of my life, I'm more than satisfied with the people I have, the jobs we do, the equipment. I mean, it's all, I'm more than satisfied, and I think praying a lot helps people understand that, and I try to do that a lot too. So I want you to know that, and other people know that. There's a lot of prayers, not only from me, but my kids and my wife. I have them praying all the time, and people in my family, my, brothers, sisters, everybody, they're like, we're praying for you, Rodney, and I really appreciate that. I need all I can get, and I always do.
Man, that's awesome. Well, I think one thing I'd like to do is just wish your mama a very happy birthday in heaven. Yeah. 83 today, I think you said she'd be, and she's been in heaven for almost 4 decades now. Hard to believe, but we love you, and hey, we'll be back. We're gonna take a break, and this has been awesome, man. Thank you, Rodney.
Yes,
hey, folks, I'm so excited to bring to you our Homes and Loans podcast series. It's something near and dear to my heart. I know it's going to make a positive impact in your life and someone that you know and care about. I encourage you to share this series with anyone that fits that description. I had the vision of bringing together like-minded people that are positive, that are forced for good, not evil, in different industries, different arenas of business, whether it's educators, entrepreneurs, attorneys, CPAs, financial planners, real estate professionals, and of course, mortgage professionals and beyond. This is just an amazing series. It's going to make a difference. And the idea is that we bring these folks together so that you can enjoy it and get something out of it. And we have 3 basic segments as our format. The first segment is where someone's from. Where were they born, and maybe some childhood memories that they carry to this day. Number 2, their business, how you might be able to reach them, maybe some tips and tricks that gives you a glimpse behind the curtain in what they do that can help you. And of course, how you reach them. And the third, I'm really excited about, because that's where the gold nuggets come in. Those nuggets that we all call on to get through adversity. We all face adversity. And we always ask the question, hey, how do you balance your professional and personal life? And we even ask a question, who would you have coffee with? Some historical figure. But the main crux of it is, how do we get through adversity? How do you look at the glass half full and not half empty? And so many other things. So we encourage you to share this. You can go to Homes&LoansPodcast.com. That's A-N-D spelled out, Homes&LoansPodcast.com. And you can see the whole series. Man, we hope you enjoy it. Share this with someone you care about. It's going to be great. All right. Hey, back with my friend Rodney Murphy, Murphys Bobcat. And man, great time we're having together. Man, I'm just excited about you being here, Rod, for real. I mean, I just sit there and just something about connecting, and again, just you'll probably get on to me when we turn the lights off, but I'm honored to be here with you, man, and just to see what you've done and the impact that you made on my family, and just that I've seen you do for other people. And just I'm proud of you, man. I'm just proud of you,
I
man.
really appreciate that. I do. I remember the first time that we really got to know each other in high school, and you was a little upperclassman, and very few upperclassmen want to talk to and you was always like, "Hey, Rodney," and I always remember that. I mean, and the truth is, here he was a star athlete, basketball, and always had that good looking flat top haircut. You remember that? Hey,
Long time ago. Yeah, I
but you
used to have
didn't
a
care
nice
to
flat
say
top.
hello out in the hall and the other people, walk by, and I always remembered that. It was, meant something to me.
Oh man, thank you, Rod. I appreciate you, man. I think a good a good segue is, I'm a do-it-yourselfer, buddy. I like to get stuff done if I can, and
Mm-hmm.
I know we finally invested in a little John Deere front loader, and it's got a backhoe on it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a toy compared to the stuff that you do.
Yeah.
And I can remember, Daddy had a big old John Deere track hoe, and he dug our fish pond
Oh yeah.
down there. And I was, like I say, I was sorry, honey. Before we met, I was chasing girls and playing
Oh yeah.
basketball, so I wasn't doing too much of that. But what are some of the things maybe that you see, that maybe just because part of the show is to just give some insight and some wisdom. And I
Yeah.
think one place to start would be, a lot of times folks they'll go want to, maybe you go give them a quote, and, they're like, oh my God, or whatever, and they don't understand.
Right.
You got payroll and workers' comp and all this stuff, but a professional job.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going, oh, I'm going to go rent a machine,
Yeah.
or I'm going to go get, Ned the wino to go
Right.
run it because he
Right.
used to run a machine,
Yeah.
but he's been fired off of 5 jobs. What any
Yeah.
insight that you could share? Because I know you've seen it all, brother.
Well, there's they are good guys that do it themselves that do a good job, and they know how to run equipment. But I tell people all the time, this is kind of funny that when you see somebody that's really good, like Kenny Harrell that works with me,
Oh, Kenny, yeah, he's the man.
he's awesome at running the skid steer and seeing things that other people can't see as far as drainage and stuff.
You're sure right on that.
But I tell people all the time, I say, hey, landing the 747 looks easy until you're sitting in the cockpit. You know what I mean? And if you don't know what you're doing, you can spend a lot of time and money that unnecessary and not get the results you want. For example, everybody says time and money, time and money. Well, for example, I've had people call me saying, hey, I need 20 loads of dirt. And I'll say, okay, sure, we'll get it. Well, so and so get it a little cheaper. And I said, well, that's what we charge, and that's okay. But I said, if you got a machine sitting there and it costs $200 an hour to run, and you're sitting there waiting on dirt, $10 a load,
That's
it
right.
makes it back.
That's right.
So it's all about service and teaching people to be on time, try to get the job done that they're looking for.
Any of the like the top 2 or 3 mistakes that you see the novice guy do that your pro guy is not going to do?
Well, some things when we talked about drainage, you can have negative drainage towards your house or foundation, and it just literally starts eroding, and you can start having water problems. But there's many things like people don't compact soil down; they just think you can put it on there and be done with it, and then you pour concrete on it. The next thing you know, a heavy truck drives across it, and it makes a huge pothole in it, and they're like, "Well, how'd that happen?" Well, this didn't have gravel under it.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many little things that people don't necessarily know. Like going to the heart doctor, you don't necessarily want the cheapest heart doctor. When you're not out there trying to
That's right.
get the cheapest.
Well, one thing you mentioned about that, I know, and for those of you watching, I have a dream, and Roddy's been staying with me, man, and I've got a dream. I want to build a nice garage on our property, and not a little one, pretty good size
Yeah.
one, enough to be able to bring kids in and play basketball with and stuff. And Kenny, your guy, amazing fella. But if I remember correctly, when we were cutting it out, he was like, "Hey, it's actually better to cut it out, let it rain on it a while,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of just going right in there if you can. But
Yeah.
there's a way to do it,
Yeah.
right? There's a
Yeah.
step and a way to do it.
Sure.
And anytime you got water going in the wrong direction,
Mm-hmm.
that's not good.
Right.
anything else that comes to mind that you think of that would be helpful for the guy out there maybe thinking
Yeah.
about?
Well, I think with TikTok and YouTube and everything else, you see plenty of trees falling on houses, and people that don't have insurance. It's easy to be cheaper if you don't have the insurance. If you don't have basically the insurance is the most important thing.
And or if you're willing to roll the dice.
Yeah, and actually the right size equipment for the job. You can. It's like using a chainsaw versus a butter knife. You know what I mean? If you,
Right.
yeah. So
So, do you have what's your? I mean, what's this? I mean, y'all do so much, but do you care to rattle off some of the
well,
scope of what you guys do?
recently we developed our own subdivision on Montville Road. It's 34 lots, but my name's Murphys Bobcat because I started with being a bobcat, and I'm very proud of it. I've had many people say, hey, why don't you change your name to whatever? And I say, hey, I'm proud of where I come from and where I've been, and the people that know me, and the people that don't, they can find out who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But so we do everything when it comes to excavating, hauling. You know, we're in the midst of starting our own quarry right now.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
How's that good? You excited about that?
Yeah, we're stripping the dirt right now to get down to the rock. So
Man, that's good.
It's a hard process. It's been very tough to get this passed through. So.
Has it been? And part of that because it's hard. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get it.
Well, I just hadn't thought about giving up. It wasn't in the.
Where's that come from?
That's funny. I guess to be honest with
Some
you.
of that Lanier water.
That's right. My dad was raised very tough, and I think he had a lot of you can't quit on this. But I think adversity really gives you a character, and I know he had a lot of it.
That's good, man. Now, I know I'd ask you. Um, we may have a project, demolition project, not necessarily a big wrecking ball, but you've got machines. So
Yeah.
demolition work,
Yeah.
site work. Do any tree stuff like?
We do clearing. It's not we do it all. I mean, we like there's literally nothing that we can't take care of. It's just some things are more our specialty, and other things that we do it when we're maybe slow or filling in for another job till something comes up. But we do definitely do demolition. We like demolition because that's a day it can be rainy or not. I mean, the weather really hampers excavating.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So you try to plan to have
So
some.
demo work is good to fit in. That's some of that fit in when you can fit it in
Yeah.
stuff.
And clearing too is
Okay.
good. So we do utilities, sewer, water, storm drain. So
Okay.
every little, we work real good with other companies like Weston Paving. They did the paving on our subdivision, and we do the grading for the roads and everything.
And that's important because
Mm.
you got that dance with them, and you're not dealing with. And I guess so. You've had some good experiences and some bad ones.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't take long to know if somebody knows their stuff or
Yeah.
not.
Well, you just learn how to fit with people, and everybody's had bad experiences. People's had bad experiences with Murphy's Bobcat. I'm sure it's how you correct them, and how people feel when you're done is more important, or as important as anything.
So whether it's a little job or a big job, site clearing, demo, the whole shebang. If it has to do with moving dirt, getting stuff out of the way, and improving land.
Yeah. Well, the same as for you. You was talking about us burying your dad's horse. And I have many friends that have lots of cattle, horses, all kinds of stuff, and those same people they need us for something. Something we can help them do, and then they'll need a house dug or a water line put in, or a house seat. But those customers, if they think enough of you to call you, and you're like, hey, I can take care of that for you, the 99% of the time call you back to take care of the big jobs too. So
Man,
that's
awesome.
part of it.
That's awesome, man. Well, how would we kind of laid out, how you could help folks?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's the best way for them to reach you, reach out to your team, and then maybe just a little bit about how that process works?
Truthfully, I tell people, if you slow down much, I'll put a sticker on your car. So Murphys Bobcat, we've been in business. I said 25 years. It'll be this. We're working on the 25th year, and and our phone number is 856 dirt. Which
Okay.
nobody pays attention to the dirt anymore, uh, but that's our office number. And
Was that back when you could pick your numbers?
exactly.
You know,
Yeah. Well, truthfully, that used to be Smoky Mountain Racetrack, and it was shut down. And I always thought, man, 856 dirt, that's pretty cool. And then when they shut down for like 5 years, I called and said, anybody got that number? No, I said, I'll take it. You know,
that's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
for years they'd call Saturdays, hey, you all racing?
Okay. So, oh, really?
Yeah, so we
So,
finally got
so
past
you
that.
haven't built a racetrack yet,
Not yet.
but you know,
Yeah.
but so 865-856 dirt.
Yep,
We're in that
3478.
865 area code for those
Yeah.
of you who don't know, but
Mhm.
856 dirt, old greenback number.
That's right.
I remember those numbers.
Yeah.
And then I guess the process, they go online. You have a website that you do?
Really, we don't have a website. We just, email basically it, but we don't have a website. We stay so busy in Maryville, we don't really, we advertise with signs and stuff like that,
Right.
and t-shirts and hats, but
That's it.
that's about it.
Just bringing that phone ringing.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the process is they would call,
Mhm.
give the scope of the work,
Mhm.
and then I guess you would send someone
Yeah,
out to
our estimator.
lay eyes on it.
We have several different divisions of our work. We have the trucking, we have large excavating, and we have residential. So, we send the person that our estimator for that particular.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can tell you guys without question, and for those of you that are looking at using Murphys Bobcat, you're not going to find anybody better. Um, Not even close. When you have experience, integrity, and results, all that together, I can tell you, um, I have. There's not too many people I will align my name with. I have no hesitation in doing that. And for those 65 plus employees, I'll tell you what you guys already know. You got a world class guy here. So appreciate you all. We'll take our break, and we'll come back and get back into the gold nuggets, and then we'll thank Mr. Murphy for his time today. It's been awesome, man. Hey, folks, I just want to take a moment and thank you for looking at our podcast. I hope you're enjoying it. We truly have enjoyed putting it together for you. And I want to take just a moment to talk about the Lauren Riddick team, Homes and Loans. My mortgage practice has been going around for over 25 years at the time that we're putting this together. And I'm so proud of that. We've been able to help clients and referral partners all over the country. Texas, California, Colorado, Washington State, Florida, everywhere in between. And of course, our beloved home here in the East Tennessee Smoky Mountains area. I love helping our clients. Whether it's a home or a loan, we'd love to help you. Now, my mortgage practice specializes in traditional forward lending, whether you need VA, FHA, rural development, conventional. We absolutely can help you. But I want to take a moment to talk about something near and dear to my heart, the often misunderstood, wildly popular home equity conversion mortgage, reverse mortgage. Now that's available for folks that are 62 years or better, for yourself or someone that you know that you care about and needs to know about this amazing program. Whether you want to use it as a leverage point to give warm-handed gifts instead of cold-handed gifts, live more independently, and make sure that you're not burdening your family, or just put together a line of access that you can use for down the road that has unbelievable benefits. Love to share with you more about this amazing program. And just in short, how cool would it be to have an optional payment that did not have to get paid back until up to 1 year after you pass away, or up to 150 years of age? It's pretty cool. Therefore, letting the house owe the debt and not you. It's been over 1 million facilitated since Ronald Reagan got behind it in the late 80s, including my blood parents, Jim and Edmund. Hey, if you want to know more, go to reversewisdom.com. That's reversewisdom.com. There's a lot of good information. Or just reach out. We'd love to share more about this amazing program or some of our more traditional mortgage products. Of course, real estate as well through my local office. Hey folks, Lauren Riddick and my friend Rodney Murphy. Man, we're just glad to have you. And Rodney, man, this has been awesome, man. You had a good time?
I have.
It's good stuff, ain't it?
It is.
We're going to get into some gold nuggets, but I always like to start off with it. If there was one historical figure that you could have some coffee with, regardless of time,
Yeah.
you sit down and have a conversation with them, him or her,
Right.
who would that be?
For us to be here local, to be honest with you, probably be Barack Obama.
Really?
And yeah, I think a lot.
How about that?
That's very controversial. I feel like in East Tennessee, but I've always admired him. I think he done a really good job. Like I said, that's kind of a
Anything that you'd ask him? Anything off the mind that you'd ask him?
I can't think of. I mean, I just like. He seems like the kind of person that you could have a beer with.
Pretty cool, ain't it?
Yeah, he is, and feel like somebody, like me and you, to sit down and talk about what makes you who you are.
That's cool.
That's
man.
basically.
Well, him being a basketball guy, you kind of had me
right.
hello on that
Yeah,
one. And,
yeah,
and
for sure.
I tell, of course, I'll probably get in trouble because we try to keep. But I'm like, I tell people, like, as far as what's going on, this is being recorded in 2024. So if you're looking at this 10, 20 years from now, I say, Lord, can we not do no better than them too?
I understand.
And then we'll,
yeah.
that's awesome.
That's exactly.
That's awesome. Well, man, I think, the thing that probably one of the big things that really inspired me to do this podcast, making a positive difference through collaboration, is we all have these mindset nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Murphy, there's no way you've gotten through what you've gotten through and done what you've done. You've inspired me. I know that we talked about, you've done several things. One of the things we haven't talked about is you had your storage business for a little bit of time. And I remember you sharing with me in confidence how many zeros were involved with that transaction. And I was dealing with something else similarly, but it was not that much. And to see how you handle that and deal with it, there's undoubtedly, man, you've been blessed and you got favor on you. But let's talk a little bit about what are some of the things that you tell yourself or that you call back on that get you through when because we all face ups and downs, but how do you deal with it?
I think the biggest part that separates me and my company from other companies is we really do try to treat the big boys just like or the little guys just like the big guys. We try to show up and do what we say. Everybody's time is valuable, and just communication with homeowners when you can't make it, to make that call and say, hey, it rained, we can't be there. Or somebody, you might be doing a small job for somebody and they'll say, hey, you were supposed to be here today, and I took off work, and I wanted to see what happened, and now you didn't show up. Well, just showing up separates you from about 80% of the people, and the communication is the other communication, the 20%, is really it just totally separates you from other people. So, I really, really feel that trying to, in your heart, feeling like you have to write the check for what the work you did that day. Are you satisfied, or you feel like you knocked somebody's head off?
Right.
And I just don't. It's not in me. Everybody's going to make money, but you don't get rich off one job, and that person will tell so many more people about what you did for them or how you got it done. And they say, you do a good job, they'll tell one person. If you do a bad job, they tell 10 people. So that's what I've always heard. But anyway, so we just always try to treat people the way we want to be treated. Basically, the golden rule, right?
That's right. Now, those moments of truth that you talked about, whether it's to make that next investment in that equipment, you got that job that you bid for, and you sharpen your pencil as best you can, and you're like, did I ask enough? Did I not ask enough? Some of those few times that you've been, I don't know if you lay in bed at night every now and then and go, what do I do? What do you do when you're really facing the squeeze, man? What do you call on?
The truth is, I always say, and I've seen this somewhere that says, I've made it through 100% of all my tough days. And that really, hey, people go broke. It happens, and life happens. And if you just get up and keep putting one foot in front of the other every day, try to treat people right, things happen. You just carry on.
That's a for sure gold nugget. In other words, if you're still alive,
yeah,
and you got enough brain to be thinking about it,
yeah,
you're 100%. You came through
yeah,
because you're still here.
yeah, you made it through it.
When you think about words of wisdom, whether it be from your parents, from your grandparents, aunts, uncles, mentors in school, maybe mentors when you were at doing the construction stuff, anything that comes to mind that still sticks with you?
Well, first off, I'll say something my dad told me a long time ago, and I'll reflect on that just a little bit. So we was very poor. We cut firewood. We did everything it took to get by. And I'll never forget my dad. He went to a place called Sam Jet's. Do you remember Sam Jet's down in Maryville? It was a little kind of like the co-op, except it was in downtown Maryville at the roundabout.
You know what? I don't know that I did or not.
It was right there where the kitchen store is.
Okay.
There. Anyway, my dad, I'll never forget, he said, son, I could walk in Sam Jet's and sign my name and walk out with a $250 chainsaw. And at that time, I was like, whoa, oh my gosh. He said, a poor man, all he has is his word. Well, I was raised like that, and I've always had that poor man mentality that, all I have is my word, and what I'm telling you I'm going to do is what I'm going to do. And that's just the way we was raised. And I'll never forget when I bought my first big piece of equipment. About the same week I bought it, I poured the concrete floor in my old shop, my old barn. Remember my old barn?
Yeah.
Been there?
Yeah.
So that was my old shop, and my wife come over, and I was sitting over there looking at that concrete floor, and it was literally the day we bought a big track hoe, and it was, my wife said,
a little tight.
Yeah, she said, what are you doing? I said, I bought a $200,000 track hoe, and we poured a $30,000 concrete floor. I said, I don't know which one I'm more proud of, because we worked on that gravel for years, and it was like a big step for me to make the next step for my shop to be a little bit better,
That's right.
But anyway, it was just, I remember that clearly, that how that one thing was just as important as that big piece of equipment, that, making the next step.
And that keeps you grounded.
Exactly.
When you do go to that guy, and you can relate to when they've got that first project, or or Lauren's garage when we do get it built, man, I tell you what, is there any good question I've not asked you yet? I tell you what, I felt like we could sit on for hours and hours, man. And
well, I didn't touch it. I want to say this, that my wife has my back, and that really means a whole lot. She's told other people and me, but she's told other people, she's like, whatever Rodney sets his mind to, he's going to find a way to do it. And that was probably one of the biggest compliments coming from somebody that knows me as good as anybody, that and she usually says, well, you'll find a way, and it usually happens, one way or the other. But if it don't happen, I always say it was meant to be. The Lord don't want you to have everything that you think you want. So I'm very, very blessed.
Man, golly, I'm just, I'm overwhelmed, man. It's been awesome. And I'm sitting here as I'm racing with the clock going. I'm just trying to think if there's something else. But guys, I'm going to tell you, I love this fella, world of respect for him. Rodney, there's no doubt that some of what you shared is going to make a difference in somebody's life, man. And just thank you for all you do, all that you're doing, all that you will do for the many years to come. And I hope we're both blessed to live a lot longer life and enjoy that time together, man.
Yep. I sure appreciate it. I'm glad to be part of it, Lauren. You've always been a good friend.
Absolutely, man. And we appreciate you. Yes, sir. Thank you, Rodney.
Yes, sir.
8 years. I've had my reverse wisdom for about 8 months.
12 years.
12 years.
My reverse wisdom for 3 months.
I've had my reverse wisdom for 4 months. I guess on about 5 months.
I think it was 2013 or 2014. That'd be what, 11 years?
Yeah,
12 years?
11 years. But Bev, how long have you had your reverse wisdom?
2 years, I think.
I've had my reverse wisdom for 1 year.
And mine for 10 years.
Reverse wisdom for 5 years.
Hi, we're Bev and Fred Wagner. We came to Tennessee about 17 years ago, and Lauren was our go-to guy. He was dependable. He was helpful. He fixed everything. He was awesome to us, and we have been with Lauren for 17 years. In the last couple of years, we realized that we could get involved with this reverse mortgage, and we've been very happy about it. With our extra money, just last year we celebrated our 50th anniversary and went to Alaska without the financial worry of it, and it's been awesome. And Lauren's been awesome. We love him. So we encourage you to all come aboard.
Okay, I'm Jerry St. Clair. I've had a reverse for about 10 years. Me and my wife Mercy. It was one of the best things we ever did. Lauren and his team are great to work with. We've been able to live in our dream house for all these years because of this reverse, and I would do it all over again. Thanks.